Welcome to Neutral Voices. I'm Dr. V, and this is In Depth, where we dig deep in the trenches of what matters. And tonight we are celebrating Black History Month by talking about Black doctors and medical pioneers.
Yes, yes.
And I learned a lot as I was doing research
I did too.
on this particular
Yes,
topic.
I did too.
Man, so let's start off with, well, first of all, I want to acknowledge our show from last night.
Yes.
So we had some wonderful people in here talking about the Timothy. What was that?
Lyman.
Yeah, right, but what's the real name? Is
The
that it?
Timothy Lyman Sickle Cell
Foundation?
Foundation.
Okay, so we had guests in the house. Beverly was here talking about an event that's coming up, the
Right.
blood drive.
Yes.
And so that leads right into our first topic, and we're going to be talking about Dr. Drew.
Yes,
Yes.
Dr. Charles R. Drew.
Exactly. And so, Clarence, I'll let you start off.
Well, Dr. Charles Drew, his profession and his practice was he did a lot of things with blood transfusions, plasmas, and everything such as that. That was his specialty. Now, he developed what we know today as, the modern day blood bank, the blood transfusion.
Mm-hmm.
He worked with platelets and things in regards to plasma. He did a lot in regards to what we're talking about, the blood drive and things, and how to preserve blood, how to medically transport blood. He did a whole lot of studying about blood, and that was his practice.
At a very young age.
At a very,
Very
young
young
age.
age. Yeah, one of his biggest things is you say the blood drive, but he invented the mobile blood drive.
Yes, blood banks.
The blood banks were when he was in World War II.
World War II, he saved a lot of
He
lives.
saved a lot of lives by having a mobile blood drive where the blood could actually get to the soldiers wherever they was at. So he invented a lot in as far as blood. You know the crazy part about it though. You know what killed him?
He died in a car accident, correct?
No. He made it to the hospital. They refused to give him a drug transfusion.
Blood transfusion?
Yeah, they refused to give him what he invented.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I knew he was in a car accident.
He got in a car accident, made it to the hospital, but being that it was a white hospital, they refused to give him any blood.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
They refused to do something that he taught everybody how to do.
Wow.
Wow.
And his legacy yet lives.
His legacy,
legacy
yeah.
lives.
Has
but he
definitely
died by
paved
his
the way
legacy.
for
Yeah.
because that's something that's happening every day.
Every day.
And think about it. I don't know. I think I've had one surgery in my life, but I didn't need a blood transfusion. But think about the number of people daily that have to have surgery. And like the young man last night talked about, he has to have some kind of infusion or transfusion with a sickle cell treatment. These are all things that stem from Dr. Drew's study and his practice, but yet this man perished
From
because
his
he
own
couldn't
invention.
he couldn't get access to his own work.
Wow.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. Well,
Only in America.
Only in America.
Only in America.
Yeah.
well, okay.
No,
I was
go
gonna
ahead.
say, no, I just wanted to say, so as we conversate and we journey through, because we have quite a few people
Yes.
to talk about, I want to first talk about Jemison, Dr. Jemison.
Dr. May Jemison?
Yeah.
But before we leave, and I wanted to you spoke on something, but before you leave, can I highlight something that
Yes.
went along with Dr.
Yes.
Drew? Now, Dr. Drew, he was the medical person, but there's other people, a lot of other black people that helped the medical industry that were not medical professionals. One of the people that was a counterpart or a contemporary that worked with Dr. Charles Drew is Frederick McKinley Jones. Now, when you look him up, you're going to realize he invented a lot of stuff. A
the
refrigerated
refrigerated
truck, how to transport things, refrigerated. He invented the movie ticket. You know, when you used to go to the movie theater, they spit out the ticket. He invented that. He also invented a mobile x-ray machine. But what he is really credited for, minimally, is the mobile blood banks and the things such as that. Him and Dr. Drew got together, and they came up with a process that they could refrigerate and transport that blood that saved hundreds of lives in World War II. But then now, that's how, when they come, we're talking about this blood drive, that's how they develop these practices. Now they know how to save blood, and when you come Saturday, at 715 East Wallace Street at True Love. If you donate blood, that's how they're going to take your blood, that it could be delivered and treated for anybody else who needs it.
Right. So I'll be there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Are you going to participate? So, yeah, so with that, and thinking about that process with the whole blood thing, I don't think we as a people, we don't really like to do that. I'm just saying. So sometimes you have to twist our arm a little bit and maybe
You gonna give
dangle a
blood?
few credits to carrots to get there.
So you gonna get blood?
Well, that remains to be seen. Are they gonna use a needle?
I was just that's why.
Are they gonna use a needle?
So
That's why I
sometimes they do have to dangle carrots to get
Yes.
certain people there.
Yes.
So that's why I asked you, because I remember you said your biggest fear.
It's needles. It's needles. And I'm not going to. But here's the thing, and they mentioned it last night, and they really need us as a community
Yes.
to come out.
To step up.
Because, I don't want to sound, it's going to sound racist, but it's a true fact. Our blood helps our people because we have different makeups and different things of blood. So they need African Americans to come out to donate blood because sickle cell primarily affects African Americans. It affects other cultures, but it affects African Americans at a higher rate. So we're asking, to get out and donate blood.
Absolutely. And so let's make sure we're there. And the time is from 10 to 2.
10 to 2
Okay, at True Love
at
Baptist
True Love
Church.
Baptist Church.
Okay, and so Dr. Mae Jemison.
Yes.
So way back when she first came on the scene, so let me just read this so we can educate our people and myself. Dr. Mae Jemison made history as the first African-American woman to travel to space. African-American woman, that's something that I would have never thought that we would be thinking about. Isn't it amazing how wide and how big our dreams are, our vision?
Yes.
And so for NASA, she was the first Black, and so aboard the space shuttle. Do you remember when this happened? Were you watching the Endeavor when this was going on, 1992?
Okay.
I'm just saying, so when you start thinking back, do you
Wow.
remember
Been that
it?
long. I remember it, but it's been that long.
Yeah, so watching TV or watching and waiting to hear the results and hoping they make it and etc. But anyway, so as well as being a doctor, she was an advocate for STEM, and a lot of times we're not pushing our kids in the STEM program. We should be doing that and making sure that they are into science. So I'm going to say that when you were young, were you a person that was really interested in chemistry or science or the stars or anything like that?
Yes,
you were.
Yes, I was a biology major, so science was always my thing.
Yeah,
science and math, that was always my thing. So I was that one. Now it was more of the physical and the chemistry. You had to take that if you would be, a biology major. Yeah. You had to take chemistry, but mine was more of the body. I was, in life, botany, all of that. Zoology, I took all of those because that's what interested me.
You took zoology?
Yes, I took zoology.
I took botany.
Yeah.
So now that's where they cutting the lizards and the frogs?
Yes, we had to do that, but you had to study. Yeah. Well, zoology is the study of all animals. So we study from cockroaches to humans. I mean, we study all human life. Earthworms. I spent a lab one time about 2 or 3 hours just dissecting earthworms and stuff like that.
And you enjoyed this?
Yes, that I like that.
I knew it was something strange about you, Clarence. For me, it was science, chemistry, stuff like that. But it was something about the stars. So I was really intrigued with the constellations and things like that. But I never thought about what's beyond, right? Not to that level.
No.
So I think it was amazing that Dr. Jemison was a Black woman who was a pioneer in that industry and pursued that to let other young Black girls know that this is something too that we can do. Right.
In her post NASA career, as you say, she pushed them and she pushed young Black women to get into the science field and even the medical field. She always pushed that, and I think we need more of that. Like you say, we tend to quash dreams oftentimes because we can't imagine us being in the space.
Fear.
It's fear. Or, it's nothing that we're privy to.
Right.
So we will say, no, you can't do that. instead of encouraging our children, say, reach for the stars, and you might be able to fly up there one day and live among the stars.
Beyond the stars.
Beyond the
Live
stars.
beyond the stars.
Absolutely.
Only thing I looked at as stars was the Big Dipper. The Big and Little Dipper.
So listen, so speaking of, so some of the people that we researched, can I share a truth?
Yes.
So this guy, I didn't really like this guy, and I felt bad because I kind of was judging him based off of Michael Jackson because I'm a Michael Jackson fan, you know, and so I was kind of thinking about, you know, these people in the medical field and the way they abuse drugs and different things like that.
Correct.
And so, you know, I just kind of had, you know what, I don't even want to talk about that because you know the doctor I'm talking about?
Yeah, the doctor that also, I think it was the same doctor that operated on Kanye's West mom.
Yes. What's that man's name?
I don't remember
It
his
slipped
name.
my mind.
Yes. but
Yeah.
yes.
So anyway, I was going to mention something
Private
about
sector
him, but
doctors.
say it again.
The private sector doctors. The
Yeah,
doctors.
well, I was going to say something else about that man, but anyway, so it led me into some of the black doctors that you kind of form an opinion of,
Yes.
and you don't really know their history and what
Correct.
they do. Well, Dr. Ben Carson was one that I had put in that category too, so I kind of threw him in the trash with that doctor. And
Yeah.
so meanwhile, while I was doing this research, somebody had to look up that man's name. And I don't know his name because I didn't like to say that man's name.
Right.
But anyway, so I threw Ben Carson in the trash with this man. And let me just tell you why. So I threw the other doctor in the trash because of Michael Jackson,
Right.
and then I threw Ben Carson in the trash because of Donald Trump.
Right.
I knew you was going there.
I feel you there. I feel you there. I think a
So-
lot of us did.
So, but it wasn't
still
fair
in
for
the
me to do
trash.
that.
He's still
It
in the
wasn't fair.
trash.
Yeah.
And so as I was looking this guy up, I'm like, you know what? This man, he was pretty powerful. He was pretty serious. And I don't
yes.
think, a lot of people know. So Dr. Ben Carson, who was a part of Trump's campaign in office and whatever he was doing in there. But anyway, so he made medical history when he separated the twins. He did the
conjoined
surgery
twins.
yes, that were joined at the head.
Right.
I did not realize that he was the one that did
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And that was you never saw the movie Gifted Hands or read the book Gifted Hands?
No. but
That's the
I-
Ben Carson story.
Yeah, Ben Carson story.
Okay.
Yes.
I need to.
Yeah.
You said movie.
It's a movie and a book.
I
It's
need-
called
I need to-
Gifted Hands.
yes, I need to watch
I think
it.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Junior
plays
played
him.
it. He showed did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, he did.
Yeah, and that was an amazing feat because nobody wanted to do this surgery, and Ben Carson was a neurologist,
Right.
and there was a lot of people. They had been the doctors. I think the children were 7. I think they were about 7 in age, and they were writing them off. They were saying that they couldn't live, and this man did this surgery, and it was just amazing.
That was-
and I do. A lot of us have slighted Ben Carson because his
Yeah.
after effects. But if you look at the man prior to 2018, Ben Carson was a great doctor and a great man.
So
Absolutely.
after 2018,
After 2018, we came.
it's just like that one bad rep just destroy
That's
your
just it.
whole.
That's what I'm saying. That's why they tell you to leave politics alone.
You ever play
somewhere
that game?
in
You
there.
lose your black card. I think
That's why I'm saying I threw him in the trash.
They burnt his. He could never get it back.
So that's why I wanted to have that true confession moment.
But yeah.
So so y'all just pray for me.
His
'cause
name was Conrad.
That's
Murray.
him. I don't really.
Conrad Murray.
Something Murray.
Yeah, Conrad Murray.
Conrad Murray.
I don't know his.
Conrad.
I don't know his name. So when we try to remember people, they say my name,
Yeah.
say their name.
Right.
Right. Yeah. We don't want to. Don't say
Hey,
their name.
yeah,
Brother, give him the
he was
glory.
part of the private sector, and
Throw them in the trash. Okay. Who else do you guys have?
Well, mine is I have 2 doctors, and their fields coincide with one another, and they worked at different times, but one field led to another. And my 2 doctors, the first one is Dr. Dr. Daniel William Hale. Now, Dr. Williams, he developed the open heart surgery. Now, as you know, a lot of us in our community, we go through open heart surgery. It's approximately 500,000 people per year in the United States alone that has to have some type of open heart surgery. and Dr. Daniel Hell Williams. He was born on January 18th, 1856 in Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania. He was educated at the Chicago Medical College in 1883, becoming one of few African-American doctors at the time. He founded the Providence Hospital and Training School of Nursing in Chicago. Now, his surgical milestones, he was one of the first successful open heart surgeries in the United States. And this was back in 1893.
Do open heart surgery.
Doing open heart surgery in 1893. He repaired the womb of the pericardium. Now, he went on to found the National Medical Association in 1895, which is an organization of black medical physicians. So think about it. In 1893 and today in America, every year there's at least approximately 500,000 individuals that have open heart surgery. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of
But then you got to think of the other doctors. We talked about Charles Drew. Think about how much blood has to be transfused during these, these surgeries. It's an amazing thing, and it's sad. It's sad. And Eve made a comment that one time, only in America. But now we're trying to minimize, and we don't want to teach these things in history. We don't want to bring these things up in history. We want to minimize them, or we want to push them away. But these are things. These are people beyond adverse conditions.
Correct.
Adverse conditions. You know what was going on in 1883? Black people wasn't really able to do much of anything.
They made a movie about that.
Yes.
What's the rapper name? It's not Common.
You talk about Mos Def?
Mos Def played him in that movie.
Yes,
That was
Mos
a great
Def.
movie.
Yeah.
Great movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they wouldn't let him in the hospital. He had to go through the back door of the hospital. But even in these conditions, these people found a way to contribute to a field that saved many and many and many lives. And a lot of these practices today are still going on. And we don't know where they were developed, or they're not taught to us that some of our people developed these procedures.
That's right.
But my second one is Dr. Levi Watkins Jr. Along with, open heart surgery, after open heart surgery, a lot of us have to have a pacemaker or an AID that's put into your heart. Dr. Levi Watkins Jr. was born June 13th, 1944, in Parsons, Kansas. He was raised in Montgomery, Alabama, during the racist segregation area. He graduated from TSU. He went to HBCU. I know you was talking about HBCUs. He pioneered the use of the automatic implantable defibrillator. That's the AID. We know people that are walking around today with defibrillators.
That's right.
And this is a man that developed it. And approximately 456,452 people in America today that are non-institutionalized are walking around with some type of pacemaker within their heart. And that developed into, and I know because my mom was just here, but she worked for our church to get one. You get these external defibrillators now that you can get. So all of these things came from, inventions that we did.
So that would replace the one that they actually do an implant.
No, the external defibrillator is, it shocks. Yeah.
Right,
Clear.
but I'm saying, so if you...
No, the external will be like if you had a heart attack right now and you didn't have one, we would strap you up with the defibrillator and, clear, and we can bring you back.
Right, but if you have a pacemaker, what I'm saying is if you have a pacemaker, it's just say it malfunction, they can still use that
upon you, yes.
Okay, because I didn't realize that when you get a pacemaker, it only has so long before it stops working.
Yeah, some of them, they say a life, and I remember some of them get them. It just depends on because the wiring and you may have to get a replacement. But they say that you could get a 10, 15-year life out of a normal pacemaker.
Okay, 10 or 15 years. Yeah. I was just going to say, because a person that I know, the doctors just gave them like 6 months left on their pacemaker, and that's when I found out, I'm like, I didn't even know that, it runs out. But yeah.
So
So
they replace them.
Yeah, they were.
they got to take it out, and put it back, put another one back in. Yes.
Well, one of them is Miss Minnie Jocelyn Jones. If you don't know who that is the first black woman U.S. Surgeon General.
What year was that?
Okay.
I'm gonna get to that.
You said the year she was serving.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get to that. Well, she was born in Arkansas, 1933, to a sharecropper. Now, here's what really gets. I'm gonna skip some stuff down, but here's what really gets me. At 15 years old, she went to college. She went to a HBCU. She went to Flinders Smith College. Flinders Smith College in Little Rock, Arkansas. At 15.
Wow, she was smart.
Yeah. So just understand, while y'all sitting there telling our kids they can't achieve nothing, we got 15-year-olds back in the 1930s going to school, going to college. So, people, let's understand that. Martin Luther King went to Morehouse at 15.
Yes.
So we got a lot of people that actually went to school, basically skipped high school and went straight to college. Understand that. She graduated. She graduated in 1956. Then she enrolled into the University of Arkansas Medical School on a GI Bill. So when she left Flinders, she went to the Army. She served her time in the Army, came back, went to Arkansas Medical School. So, and then she joined the University of Arkansas School of Medicine as a clinical and research practitioner. In 1993, she was appointed. My fault. She was appointed the 15th Surgeon General of the United States.
Say 1993.
Yes.
Wow.
Now, I mean, y'all have to understand, while we telling our kids, people telling their kids what they can't achieve, this woman achieved more than most people will achieve in their lives by the age of 15. You have to understand that.
That's powerful. Yeah. So, still talking about doctors, inventors, etc. If we talk about all the things that Black people invented, we could not get it in.
No,
it would
No, we
take.
couldn't. We'll be here for the
It would
next 10
take
years.
a long time.
If not
It's
longer.
almost easier to talk about what they didn't invent.
It was something on Facebook a year or so ago, and I think we had the conversation too. But I know I saw it on Facebook about a year or so ago, and the question was posed: if you took away everything Black people invented,
The world be
and
black.
Black people and everything Black people invented, where would the world be today?
It'd be dead,
Wow.
literally.
Yeah.
And think
We'd be
about the
pretty-
things from an everyday basis that you
everyday
use that
basis.
you wouldn't.
We'd be the Flintstones. It'd be the Flintstones.
I mean, because a lot of these medical practices and things that like that, I mean, just general ones that keep us alive, blood transfusions, heart surgery, different things.
Yeah.
These were perfected by Black people.
Yeah.
Ben Carson again. You said,
Oh.
but his
Didn't
his
I-
accomplishments in neurosurgery. You can't take away the man all right, Dr. B, I'm gonna
I
be like
gave
this
him enough.
because we'll tell you. R. Kelly might be in jail, but we still play his music. So
Ain't
we
nothing wrong.
But leave R. Kelly out of this.
we can't discredit what the man
I'm
did
just saying.
before.
Okay,
just
I got
saying.
I got another one for you, man. And you know something? Let's do this. We cannot neglect the sisters because we got a lot of sisters that's been in medicine that's on top of the game.
Right.
For like Miss Alexis Candy. She's from Michigan. She was born in Lansing, Michigan. She went to University of Michigan, where and then she became the first Black woman neurosurgeon. Let's picture that.
So she was a female Ben Carson. I'm gonna bring
Yeah,
that up because Doc B.
But hold
say
on,
it, don't say his
let me break
name.
it down. She was the first Black woman neurosurgeon, but she did all her stuff in the children's hospital.
Oh, for kids.
Yeah, she did everything in the children's hospital as a program. I mean, she did all the surgery, neurosurgeries in children's hospitals, and like her career, she ended her career at Wayne State in Detroit. She's a professor and vice chair of the Department of Neurosurgeon at Wayne State. If you don't know where Wayne State at, Wayne State is in the middle of Detroit.
Middle of Detroit.
I mean, literally.
Literally. Literally.
Literally, it's in the middle of Detroit, one of the roughest neighborhoods in Detroit. Wayne State sits dead smack in the middle of it.
You know.
Now, is that an HB?
No,
Oh, okay.
no,
You
it's
just-
not an H.
okay.
No, I'm just saying where is that?
Yeah.
Well, I was just asking because I know you
Detroit
love.
Mercy somewhere in there.
Well, both of y'all love the
Yeah, HBCU.
HBCU is the way to go. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to understand that's where we got our initial learning from. Now they pull us from the HBCUs because they understand how intelligent we are. No, we don't need you to go to HBCU. You can come make our school look good. No,
Go to HBCU.
let's go to a HBC. Make our black schools look good.
HBCU proud. But you know, as you were talking about the ladies, and before we get out of here, we were talking about history, but we're going to talk about a modern day medical professional, a young lady, and I hope I say her name right. I think it's Kismika
that's-
Colbert.
Yeah, that's
Now, what did
Hard
she
name.
do? She was one of the first people in the battlefield of this last pandemic that we had. And she developed a lot of things. She helped develop the vaccine. I don't know which one because I didn't get a chance to look that up. But she was in the forefront of developing the vaccine for COVID. And she was a younger lady, I remember. This just hit me when I was thinking about that. And I really want to do it. I'm going to post it. I'm going to find her name. But there's a black lady that is working with nanotechnology. She's a doctor. She's working with nanotechnology, trying to cure cancer.
we need that.
I'm going to find that name. It just hit me when I was reading that. But yeah, and then she's a lady, and she's working with nanotechnology to help cure cancer.
Look, cure cancer where they could use it. We use it in the United States.
Right, yes.
Since they say they already have one somewhere else. That's another story. Anyway, so another person that I did research on, how do y'all feel about the fact that you don't learn this, you don't learn about these different people, and I'm just going to say every holiday, every Black History holiday.
Right.
You hear about the same people all the
Correct,
time,
yes.
right? So if we ask a lot of people, who do you know? Name 5 people.
They're going to say Martin Luther
They're gonna
King,
say-
Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, Thurgood Marshall.
Yeah, I'm just
They're
saying.
giving the commercial people, and what really bothers me, why are we keep calling it Black History?
I know.
We need to just stop calling it Black History and say it's history because it's American history. It's not Black history, it's American history. We got wrong here to America, and at the end of the day, there's no difference from, do we call it white history?
No.
Do we call it Mexican history?
Right,
You know, so
But
why are we saying
I
Black history?
only got one argument to that point, E, but you are right. But I only got one argument to the point because it's where we are today. If we don't keep mentioning Black history, they now call it critical race theory. And they're trying to eliminate that from all curriculums.
Well, I mean, if they're going to eliminate that, they need to eliminate American history, period.
They're not doing that.
So you can't have one without the other.
Valid,
True.
very valid.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but it's how they label it. So if we just say let's take the Black off the history, that means our history is no longer being taught.
And
Because-
and see what you're saying,
Yes.
and so that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying shame on us, shame on all of us, shame on myself, because it's in a book. We haven't read it.
Right.
Well,
We don't look it up.
but see, and
Our parents not sitting us down and reading it to us and telling us about these people.
because half the time our parents don't know.
And that's what I'm saying. But you know what? Sometimes even what you don't know, you can put that book in front of somebody and say,
You're
you
right.
need to look this up.
Right.
Or you could even encourage your child to study a person of color once a month. I mean, that don't sound like a lot of pressure.
Right.
And I'm just saying, so maybe we didn't do that, but we can start doing that moving forward.
That goes to my theory,
because
too.
I think you know what. So this is what I'm saying. So I think it's sad and it's heartbreaking that we don't know enough people to have a good, strong conversation about Black history. I
Right.
mean, and I'm not saying just us here. I'm talking about people.
Right.
Actually,
You know, a lot of times. I'm just
know.
talking about, in my circle, people that I
Oh, I
hear
truly
talking
understand.
when Black History Month come up or any other day
You talking
in
about
the
the same
year.
people.
You talk about the same people. When they compare me and they compare Martin Luther King, Dr. King, and Malcolm X.
Yes.
Always. And there's so many other great people that were doing a whole lot of things, way back then.
Right.
So I always say, who's cheated? George Washington Carver. People don't talk about him. And then, so I know it's time for us to go, but I do want to mention this person. And I'll ask it this way. Have you guys ever heard people say the real McCoy?
Yes.
And so do you know where that came from?
I don't remember the guy's name, but I just heard something about it. He came up with a coupler. Was it the coupler?
Oh, see, and I just thought it was kind of interesting because you hear people say
Yes.
the real McCoy.
Was it the
And-
coupler?
Yeah, well, this is it, and I want to just so for the people, for the audience, because somebody shared this with me, and I'll say it wasn't even a Black person.
Oh,
How about that? I'm just saying it came from having a conversation about Black history, and so maybe they may say they're Black, but they don't look Black. Anyway, so here you go. So did you know this? Elijah McCoy, the inventor, held 57 United States patents, mostly related to the railway. His inventions, which were not headlined, like I'm talking about, a lot of them that were ignored, was all connected to the steam engines and were associated with quality and good functions. And people began saying, so if they were going to order a part, they wanted to make sure they reference, is this the real McCoy? Or
Right.
when you send it, make sure
It's
it is
the real-
the real McCoy. And so connected to quality, I thought that was pretty cool.
You're gonna
So
change
it's
a
the
whole
old,
bunch of dialect.
And so it's,
Right.
it's the old dripper
Yeah.
is what connected to the
You're going to
steam.
change a whole lot of people dialect. They're not going to talk about the real McCoy no more. I'm just joking. but-
Oh, I see where you're going with
Yeah,
that.
you're going to change a whole lot of dialects. But once again, before we get out of here, Doc V, we want to remind everybody, it's people needs people. Blood Drive, and it's from the Timothy Lyman Sickle Cell Foundation Blood Drive. It'll be this Saturday, the 24th, and it will be held at True Love Missionary Baptist Church at 715 East Wallace Street, and it begins at 10 and it ends at 2. We're asking all of you to, if you go, get information, but we do need African Americans, Black people. We need y'all to donate blood. Yes. We really need y'all. Because they're saying there's a shortage of Black people donating blood right now. So if you can, if you will, please, we're going to be there. You're going to be there?
Of course.
You're going to be there?
Yeah.
We'll
I
be
hate
there.
needles, but I'm going to be there.
I hate needles too.
Yeah.
You're going to get blood.
Man, don't make me say something on air.
Yeah.
I can't commit on air and then I pass out and everybody see me pass.
Hey, come on, Clarence.
Be
I
in
need
the
you to
house.
commit.
We might go live from from True
Come
Love
on,
Baptist
Clarence.
Church.
Oh, yeah, that's going to get y'all some views because I'm trying to tell
Support.
y'all.
Come on. Get that thing out. Get it ready.
Yes. So while they're getting pumped up and getting ready for the blood drive, we want to say thank you, as always, for joining us and hanging out with us here at Neutral Voices. And before we exit, we always say, E.
Always protect your mind.
Yes.
Clarence.